Hello. Just a few notes on this. I wrote it a while back, and I was thinking about if I should do something with the talent show. I thought, wow, I could tell the story, but of course I didn't bring it. So I'm going to try to do it all by memory, and I hope that I don't screw up too bad. So if you'd like to just relax for, relax, get in a pleasant position, and don't fall asleep, I think it's a good idea. The story is called Frem and the Moon. It was late at night, and the wolves ran swiftly. The cold wind hit at Frem's fur. His feet were sore, they'd been running a long time. Tormir, the lead wolf, would run and run and run until they could catch up to a flock of sheep and find their meal for that evening. Frem didn't like to hunt. He was lonely. His mother had been trampled by a runaway sheep during an attack, and his father had gone off to another pack. So Frem paid attention to the moon. He didn't like to hunt. He liked to eat, but he didn't like to hunt. He didn't like to run with all these other wolves. He just liked to look at the moon, but he knew that the only way he could survive was to be with them. So while they ran into the night, Frem would look up at the moon. It was full in its glory, shining bright upon the land. And Frem ran and ran, looking up at the moon. And finally the pack began to slow down as Tormir saw a flock of sheep ahead. They crested a hill, and they looked down upon the sheep. Frem sat looking at the moon. All the other sheep began to grumble. They had run a long time, and they were all cold and hot, cold with the wind, hot with their breath, panting, tired. They wanted to eat, they wanted to sleep. But Tormir knew his stuff. He knew what he was doing. He had been running this pack for a long time. He looked down on this flock of sheep, and he knew what his job was. His job was to run up on the sheep's back, go to the center, and start killing the sheep, and then have all the other wolves surround. He knew that he had to plan this perfectly, or the sheep could scatter, and the wolves could get trampled. But as Tormir watched the sheep, Frem looked at the moon. Tormir waited and waited, waiting for just the right moment when they could make their kill best. All the other wolves grumbled, what's keeping Tormir? We should go now. But they trusted him. And Frem sat, looking at the moon. And finally Frem got tired. He saw a hill, and slowly he walked up the hill, away from the pack. And he looked back at them all hunched over, looking over their small crest at the sheep. And Frem said, I don't need them. I don't need them. I like the moon. So Frem went up to the top of the hill and looked up at the moon and started speaking to it. Why don't you talk to me? Do you know that I like you? You're the only friend I have. I don't like Tormir. He's too mean. He's too much of a leader, and I don't want to be a leader, and I don't want to be in this pack. But I know I have to be, or I won't survive. And suddenly the moon spoke to Frem and said, hello. Hello, little wolf. What are you doing? And the wolf said, I wanted to talk to somebody. But while this was going on, Tormir could see that it was getting closer and closer to the time of the kill. And he began to get ready, tensing up all his muscles and telling the other wolves to begin to tense theirs to get ready for the strike. Frem looked up at the moon, and the moon said to Frem, show me what you can do. What is it that you have got that is special? And so Frem reeled back and howled as loud as he could. And Boromir, way down the valley, turned around and heard the howl and knew that the sheep would run. So Boromir ran as fast as he could with the whole pack going behind him. And he knew that he had to strike now or he'd lose the sheep. But they were too late, and a lot got trampled, but they did get some killed. Frem, on the other hand, did not know any of this was going on. He sat talking to the moon. And the moon said, you know, you're the only animal that ever talks to me, that ever wants to confide in me, that ever wants to be my friend. Because you're that special, I'm going to tell you all the secrets that I know, all the secrets that I've learned by being up here so many thousands of years. So the moon began to tell Frem all the stories of how the world was created and every other living thing, and went into great detail. But the moon said,